Rachel, here with Ari, and we're your hosts for the Merry Writer podcast. This week, we're on episode 302, asking, what are our writing goals for 2026? Before we start, don't forget to visit and follow our coffee page. You can access lots of free goodies. If you're in a position to support us financially, you can become a Merry Writer for $2 a month and get exclusive monthly content. Everything earned on coffee goes into keeping the show going, and we really do appreciate any support. So, Happy New Year. We know we're a week into 2026 at this point, but this is the podcast's first episode of the year, so here we are. This week, we are talking about our writing goals for 2026. And yeah, I know it's a little bit cliched, but the last time we discussed our writing goals on the show was January 2022. It's been a hot minute. We don't talk much about our personal writing and really just our experiences and journey as a whole. So I hope you're curious to hear about our actual writing goals and more about our novels, because this is the episode and this is what you're getting this week. Now, before we get into our actual goals, I do want to talk about what we accomplished in 2025, because I do feel like whenever we talk about our goals, we tend to say, oh, this was my goal and I didn't meet it, so let's try again. So I wanted to take a look at what we actually did accomplish in 2025 so that we can kind of boost our morale a bit. With that said, 2025 for me wasn't exactly sunshine and rainbows. I had a really rough start to the year, and then I developed some health issues, which in turn put a damper on my mental health. And normally that would have made me hide under a rock until the start of 2026, but I didn't. I surprisingly powered through. I wrote a lot of short stories, mostly for my coffee page, and I was actually consistent with my coffee page for the most part. I think I had a rough start at the beginning of the year. But being consistent towards the end is an accomplishment in itself. I mean, me sticking to something for a long time, that's almost unheard of. And finally, I published my final book in the Grim Reaper Files duology, and I'm super proud of myself for giving myself a deadline and actually sticking to it for an entire year, because in the back of Apparitions Anonymous, I said Happily Ever Afterlife would be released in the fall of 2025. And I think if I didn't do that, I probably wouldn't have stuck with it. But I also realized that a year is not long enough to get a book ready for publication. So that was a bit of a drag, but hey, I did it, so hooray for me.
First of all, I can't believe it was like 2022 when we last did a writing goals episode. I am shocked. I really thought every year we did this. So I think I must be having blackouts.
No, I thought so too. Because I figured we talked about it in January of 2025. I looked back on that and I said, oh no, we didn't. We must have done like a goals episode in December of 2024. And I looked back there and I was like, no, we didn't. So I was like, well, January 2024 for sure. And I looked back there and I was like, no. So we must have talked about our goals for the next year in December 2023. And I kept going. And I was like, wow, we actually haven't talked about our personal writing goals since 2020. So what is that? 4 years? 4 years ago.
Wow. That's seriously, don't say that. 4 years. It was 3 years ago or 2 years ago, or maybe just last year. 2022 was very, very, very recent, like last year.
It was a long time ago.
Stop it. I do actually like the idea of doing the accomplishments of like, what did you accomplish in 2025? Although as soon as you said that, I thought, oh no, I did have a blog post, because every year I do a goodbye whatever year and hello whatever year. And in my hello blog post, I always have some goals. So while you were talking, I was like, I'm just going to check what I put on my goals. First of all, I'm going to say, let's see. It's last year, 2025 started pretty well for me. I pushed into the 85K challenge January to March and I completed it. Just over like 100 words over, but I was very impressed with myself. Then I kind of fell into a rut. We had way too many heat waves and hot days in the UK, and we are not heat wave hot people. We are cold, wet, windy, foggy bog people. So honestly, whenever we get a little bit of heat, we all just shut down. And we had too many of them. So that wasn't great. I also had stupid house projects that needed to be done that have been like lurking around, and they got done. But as well as the 85K challenge, I completed the Blessed One, fully edited and beta read from everyone. And then I sent it to a professional editor, which was a huge deal because I do not like sharing my work. I know, terrible for a writer, but I did. I sent that and it got dev edited, copy and line edited, and then there was a beta team looking at it as well. So terrifying, but also exciting. I also moved my newsletter to a new platform, which took way longer than it should have done. And I'm like, yeah, you know what? That's not too bad. And then I went back to my notes, like what I was supposed to do throughout 2025. I wanted to submit to the Page Turner Awards, which I did, and I forgot I did that. We are recording this a little early, so you never know. Maybe I'll add a little caveat saying I won. I don't think that's going to happen. I was supposed to complete a Coming Storm manuscript, at least draft one. I am very close. It's like 67,000 words. It's pretty close, but I didn't finish it. I was supposed to complete The Blessed 2. I think that's on like 57,000. To be fair, I didn't think I was going to do what I did with Blessed 1. So I kind of had to go all out, focusing on that, deep in the weeds. I was also supposed to complete Mallory Warren draft 1. You see, I was too excited thinking, oh my God, I've got all these things I'm going to do. And I didn't really think about the time, the energy, the heat wave. So, and the other one was send Dark Heart to a beta reader, which I did. So of my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I did 2 of them. But I made some good headway on the others, so I'm going to class it as good. And obviously, instead of them, I finished The Blessed 1 to a really good point and got it edited. So honestly, that's still a win for me. I'm quite happy with that.
You did a lot. I'm very proud of you because I don't think anybody listening to this podcast, I don't think you guys realize that it's not that we just come on every week and we start recording and we talk strictly about the podcast. We don't. There are very many weeks where we waste so much time because we're chit-chatting, and seeing the progress that you have made with your writing, with your blog, with anything over the course of these past 5 years has been amazing. And I'm super, super proud of you that you submitted The Blessed to an editor. You were able to like start that process of this book or the series. And I'm also really proud of you for completing the 85K challenge, because I know you really enjoyed that challenge when it was an actual thing. Created by Julie Valerie. If for those of you who don't know, it lasted a couple of years and then it stopped. I forget when, but I know you were very big on the 85K challenge and you liked the form part and the community of it. So I'm very proud of you for doing it yourself and sticking with it, because it's not easy to do a challenge like that when it's just by yourself. So good for you, Ari. You had a very good 2025.
You are so sweet. You are so sweet. And you're right, it isn't easy to do a challenge when there's not like a community behind you, which is why I just kept mentioning to everybody. I will force you all to be in my community while I do it. But look at you, publishing a book, publishing another book. I mean, seriously, it's like I'm sat there going, okay, she's gonna have like a whole series out, and I'm still gonna be writing this goddamn book. So you were very motivating for me to get my arse in gear and get this book sorted. So yeah, I think we've done very well this last year. I should say we've done very well last year.
We really have. We've really, because I couldn't tell you that I think when we first started this podcast, if we said to each other 5 years from now, we're gonna be like making this headway with our novels, I don't think I would have ever believed us. I think it's kind of crazy how much we have actually accomplished like during the lifespan of this podcast.
Not to mention how long it takes to do this podcast. It is not a quick and easy thing. I like a 20-30 minute episode can take over an hour and a half just to edit, and that's one process in the whole process of doing the podcast. And then you think we do it every week. That's a lot of episodes. But I just had a cool idea. Do you think it's cool? Why don't we write a what I want to have done in next 5 years? Like our goals for the next 5 years. And then if the podcast is still churning away on like January, the first episode in January of 5 years on, we could be like, we're gonna open them and see what we said. See how well we've done. And we've got to make them really like stretchy goals. We've got to make like not like I'm gonna have written this draft. It's like, no, we've got to get 4 books out or something.
Yes. create like a
Yes.
time capsule.
Yes.
Absolutely. So wait.
Yes.
It's 2026, 2027, 2028, 2029, 2030, 20. So 2031. We are still
Yeah.
going to be doing this podcast then, because if you heard episode 300, I said we're going to be doing the podcast up until we're 80. So we definitely will still be celebrating our 10th or 11th year. And wait, yeah. Oh my God, 2031 would be the podcast's 11th year.
Yeah. Maybe we should make it maybe the 10th year then. We'll cut it down to 4 years, but like really tighten it up.
Yeah.
Because it sounds a
Yeah.
bit better
Yeah.
than the 11th year, which only gives us
Yeah.
4 years, not 5 years.
But that's fine.
That'd be quite
We'll
cool.
we'll keep it go. We'll kind of include 2025 because now we know we can do it. We have the motivation. We're capable. So we'll just ride this wave for the next 4 years. And yes, I like that. And you know what? For anybody listening to this episode, if you want to join us on that and create your own time capsule for your writing or, whatever goals you want, absolutely do it. And, let us know about it in the comments, or even follow along on our coffee page. I'll give that another pimp. It's ko-fi.com/the Merry Writer Podcast, because maybe we can come up with some freebies or just keep people updated somehow. If we even remember what we write in this time capsule. That's the whole
Well, that's the
other
whole
thing.
point. I don't think you're meant to remember. You're meant to just
Oh,
think, right, in 4 years, I want to have done this thing. And then, because hopefully it's the plan you already had. And then we'll see whether we stuck to that plan. And then, like, I've even got like a little wax kit so I can wax stamp mine and leave it on the side so I can stare at it. So yeah, if you want to do it too, definitely let us know in the comments. It might be have to get everyone on a group call and we
yeah.
all write them together. I'm getting all excited now.
Oh, we did write that down.
I will write that down.
Write it down, because we will forget. We'll forget to make our time capsule. Okay, I think now that we got that out of the way, hooray for both of us. Big pat on the back. And I hope each and every one of you listening to this episode accomplished a lot in 2025, writing or otherwise. We're all very proud of ourselves. Good job. So before we start thinking too far into the future, let's talk about our goals for 2026. For me, one of the first things I want to do is rebrand my author website, because Ari is a bad but also helpful influence.
Whoa, why am I going under the bus?
Because,
Jeez, drive by.
listen, a couple of weeks ago, when we were recording podcast episodes, I mentioned, it wasn't in an episode, we were talking like without recording. I mentioned how I have a bad habit of focusing on things too far into the future because I overplan things, and I have things right in front of me that have to get done. And I'm like, man, once those are done, it'll be so nice because then this, and this can happen. And I just think too far into the future, and I don't do what needs to get done in this moment. I kind of skip over the stepping stones. And I was mentioning how I was thinking about getting a professional author logo done and rebranding my website. And I was saying that in a way, being like, this isn't something that I need to be focusing on right now. And Ari, not sarcastically at all, just looked me dead in the eye in the camera and goes, "You should do that. That's a really good idea." And you sounded so like, I don't know, you just sounded so forceful with it. Like, yeah, absolutely, you should do that. And I was like, maybe this isn't a bad idea to do right now. So yeah, that's one of the things I want to work on in 2026.
I am very supportive of other people doing more work, always.
Absolutely. I mean, who knows? By the time this episode releases, maybe I'll already have the logo out, because I'm planning on getting it like by the end of 2025. If you couldn't guess, we're recording this still in 2025. But yeah, so that's number one. Well, maybe not number one. I don't know. My other goal is to consistently write each week, and not necessarily have a routine per se, but I just want to be consistent. I want to track my time, not words or pages or anything like that. I want to see how much I can commit to my writing, because I'm not even having a time goal. I'm not saying I want to write X amount of hours per week. I just want to see how much I can get done, and how, whatever. But I do want to set aside an hour or two every morning to work on my novel. And it'd be nice if I could write like 5 to 6 days a week, usually Monday through Friday. kind of treat novel writing like a part-time job. And Saturdays or Sundays, I'll write at Barnes and Noble, which is kind of what I normally do. But on the weekends, I don't really work on my novels. It's usually a short story for my coffee page or for the blog. Or, sometimes I don't even write at all and I just hang out with my sisters, which is why I say I would like to write 5 to 6 days. Because if I don't get anything done on Saturday or Sunday, that's fine. But at least Monday through Friday, I would like to work on my actual novel and stick with that novel, which brings me to my next goal is that I want to work on other writing projects consistently, but in the background. And I'm hoping these other projects are shiny enough to keep my ADHD brain occupied long enough for me to keep the focus on anxiety as my main novel rather than finding myself working on 3 different novels / series like 6 months from now.
You know that's not gonna work.
Listen, you're supposed to be supportive and encouraging.
Not gonna work. How's that?
That's better, actually.
Come on, you know the shiny projects, they all want to get done.
Here's the thing, though. I'm doing different, God, what's the word? I'm doing different formats, I guess. I have so many ideas. My author career has turned into a bit of an experiment because for a while, when I was a kid, I wanted to be a full-time author. And then the industry kept changing and I realized I'm just not like a business person. I'm not salesy or anything like that. And I kind of just want to write because I have a lot of ideas and I want to share those stories with people. And if it gets bought, it gets bought. If, I'm not in it to make it big as an author. Obviously, I need money. So if you want to give me money, my coffee page is coffee.com/Rachel Poley. But just saying, yeah, I just, there's so many different things that I want to try and learn because over the years, I've realized when you tell people that you're a writer, obviously, if you say you're an author, people know that you write books. But if you say that you're a writer, people just automatically assume you write books. But there's so many other ways to tell a story. And that's kind of what I want to do. So I want to learn more about script writing. So that pirate idea that I was talking about a couple of episodes ago, or maybe I was just telling you, Ari, I don't even remember if we recorded it. Um, but I have this pirate story idea. So I'm going to write that as a movie, essentially. Will it ever be turned into a movie or see the light of day? I have no idea. I have no plans for that. I just want to write it in a script so I can learn script writing and get that story out of my head. And I've also been trying to get a job in the gaming industry. And I have a couple of video game ideas. So I'm going to be working on a video game and I'll be telling that story, which is more script writing. So I'm hoping that those projects will be different enough, but keep my brain occupied. So I have 2 scripts, one for a video game, one for a movie, and then also a novel, and hope that the novel will be the main focus. But I'm technically working on multiple stories at a time. They're just not novels. So I'm hoping, fingers crossed.
I'm sure you'll do it. When you set your mind to it, you get a little crazy and it works really well for you. So I'm sure you will manage it. How's that?
I do get a little crazy, so I'll take it.
And honestly, you haven't sent me a giant email in a while, so I feel like it's building up. So you direct it to your work and it'll just be great.
Perfect. Yeah, see? It all comes full circle. It'll be fine.
Exactly. Okay, so my writing goals for 2026, which I know as soon as I've done this, I'm going to have to write them down somewhere else because I will instantly forget them. Obviously, with the Blessed One being fully edited, I need a title. I still haven't come up with a title for this. It's killing me. Apparently, I am terrible at things like this, so that's an important point. I also want to get the cover design for the Blessed One. Touchwood, I think I have the finances for it, hopefully. So I would love to get that book like almost ready. I also want to be working on the Blessed 2 and 3. Possibly either Blessed 2 all the way through, like written, fully edited by me, not by an editor, because that's expensive and I'm still saving. And the Blessed 3, probably 1 or 2 drafts done. It is quite a lot, but I have done a lot on them already. But I would really like to get the whole set ready together. Because as much as part of me is like, yeah, wouldn't it be good to get Blessed 1 out as soon as it's ready? I don't know. The problem is because my brain is a little bit ping pong bally, it might be better to get book 2 and 3 ready as well. Otherwise, you could end up with book 1 and then ping pong ball all over the place, and it might be 5 years before book 2's finished. Whereas if I'm forcing myself to hold on to book 1 until book 2 and 3 are done, I'm more likely to actually do them hopefully within a year or two. I mean, really, fingers crossed, I'd love to get them both fully written and beta read in 1 year. And because I've done quite a lot of them, there's like 50, 60,000 words on one of them, and I think 30, 40,000 words on another. I think I'm in quite a strong position. I don't know. I feel like I should have a really good stretch goal with that.
I do just want to say, I agree with what you're saying, and I know you that if you published The Blessed One first and then continue to work on the rest of the series, if you find a plot hole or something happened in the first book that you forgot about and you never mentioned again in the rest, you would drive yourself mad. So
Yes, 100%.
I think it totally makes sense that you would want to have like the whole thing done, or at least like have the other two books mostly done, so you can make sure that all the loose ends are tied up, and then you can sprinkle them out evenly. So I totally, yeah, I concur with that.
Yes.
You have my support.
Yeah, because it can happen if you're, especially if you're writing a big series, and mine is an epic fantasy. Lots of moving parts, lots of characters, lots of world, like lands and everything. You can miss threads, or you could end up halfway through book 3 going, oh, this would really be great, but I need to put, breadcrumbs in book 2 and maybe a little tiny bit in book 1 just to tie it through. Adding something like that's not a problem, but obviously it is if you've published it. Also, not to be a cheapskate, but if I had 2 more books that were ready, I might be able to get a better deal with an editor package or a book cover package. If I'm like, here, you've definitely got 2 pieces of work. Could I get a discount? Which is
That's not
obviously
being a
no one's.
cheapskate.
It feels a little bit. It's like, obviously, I'm never wanting anyone to not get the money they deserve. 100%. That's why I pay for my professional team. I'm not editing it myself. I'm not making my own book cover. I would be terrible at that. Even as an artist, I would be terrible. But if saying, hey, you'll definitely be working on both of these, is there any way you could give me like 5% off? I don't think that's the worst thing. Obviously, they could say no, and that's fine. But yeah, I do like the idea of the whole set being released like closer together and all being ready. That's actually a really intense job. It's making me feel stressed just thinking about it. I do still want to work on some other projects because I am a bit of a masochist. I want to finish Coming Storm and have it out to betas. It is really close, and I'm a little bit less uptight about giving to betas. Although I do need to sort my beta process because it was not great last time. I think I just kept throwing chapters at people and then panicking. I needed to be better with my requests for feedback and ask questions and maybe not send 10 chapters at a time. I think that was probably a little bit stressful for everybody. I also want to get Darkheart, which has been hanging around for too many years. I want that to go out to a few more betas, and I want to get that not edited, but I want to get it ready so that I'm not touching it anymore. And that when I have the finances, that goes to an editor. That's what I like the idea of having a couple of projects sort of piled up where I'm not allowed to touch them because they've been touched enough. Sounds like a really weird thing, touching. And finally, it would be all the other pieces. I made a list of things you need to think about and do when you're publishing and marketing a book or books. And it turned into 9 pages. Now, some of it is things literally like, source an editor, get a book cover. And that has to be done for each book. Other things are things I don't know how to do, but once I've done them, I might not need to do it again. It might be a template, or it might be something it's like, oh, buy my ISBN numbers, I buy them in a bulk of 10, so I don't need to buy them until I've run out of my 10. But I want to try and make a good dent in that 9 page list. And I kind of want to start setting myself up a roadmap for publishing so that every time I come to another book to do, I literally have a simple checklist. Simple, it's going to be pages, I know it will, that I can run through and I know how to do everything. And then every book goes out, I will learn from whatever mistakes I make because there's going to be mistakes, and then I can amend my roadmap because I need a roadmap. I can't just do shit. I need lots of research and stress, and then I need to put it in a nice little folder with a tick box. That's how my brain likes things. So I want to do that. And just looking at this, I'm starting to get panicked because it's quite a lot. And we're also doing the podcast. And we're probably going to get work done, more work done on the stupid house because it just never ends. It never ends, people.
This is your writing goals, though. Don't worry about the house. Don't worry about the podcast.
Yeah, but it takes time away from the
I know.
goals. When am I going to get time to do it?
Also, that roadmap, you're gonna have to send me that so I can steal it, because and listen, don't give me that face. When we talked about this, this wasn't recorded, I don't think. So none of you guys know what we're talking about. But Ari had asked me what like my roadmap looked like. And I was like, yeah, I don't have one, because every time I've published something, it's been different. I've learned new things and I've tried new things because, as I said, my author career is just one big experiment at this point. So every time I publish something, I'm like, let's try this instead and see what happens. But after we had that conversation, I was like, you know what? I really do need to have that, because I do have a list, but it's not a roadmap. It's not, I should do this first and the second and yada, yada, yada. So I actually did create one not too long ago. So we should discuss that once we're done recording, and we should swap what, you know, you might have left off on yours and what I might have left off on mine. And I don't know, maybe this will end up being a podcast episode at some point where we talk about our roadmaps and see if they work or not.
Yeah, seriously. Rachel put out 3 books, and I'm like, this is great. She's gonna have all these details. I'm gonna be able to like pick her brains. And it was like, yeah, you know, I write everything down except everything like this. And it was like, seriously, nothing written down. Really
I
helpful.
have a
I'm
list.
trying to scab off you, and you didn't help. I mean, do that.
I have a
You do
list. It's
now.
just not in order.
Yeah, but you didn't have it originally, and you were kind
I
of just.
did. You were asking for a roadmap, like what to do in order.
Yeah.
And I was like, that I don't have. I just have a like a brain dump list. And the reason because this is a good sentence. The reason because is I kind of mix things up in my brain, thinking that, well, when the book is with the editor, I can do this, this, and this. And then there were certain things like I was like, I'll format the book while the book's with the proofreader. Well, Rachel, it's the manuscript's not finished yet. You can't format it if you're going to end up making changes to it after. And so that was my issue. I had a list of things that I wanted to do because I'm like, I don't have the manuscript now, so I can get these things done. But then when I would start doing those things, I realized I can't actually do this right now. And then sometimes I would just be there twiddling my thumbs because I'm like, I actually need this to happen in order for me to do this. But before I can do that, I got that needs to get done. And it kind of snowballed. So I had a brain dump list. I did not have like a roadmap. So I did actually sit down the other day and create one. So that's why I'm saying we need to mooch off of each other and compare our roadmaps.
Yeah, we do.
Because we're going to be super accomplishments. We're going to make, we're going to be super, how am I trying to, what's a sentence?
Super accomplished?
Super accomplished. We're going to be super accomplished in 2026.
You know what? I'll do my roadmap on my own.
No, you have to. I got to mooch off of you at least. You got to share. I'm going to put this down as a podcast episode, so Ari has to share her secrets.
You're so mean.
Oh, yeah. Well, hey, I think overall, both of us have pretty solid goals, and we will accomplish them, even if we don't accomplish everything, but we will make good progress and good headway. And I am looking forward to that time capsule thing because that'll be really interesting to do. With all of that said, we want to hear your thoughts. Do you have any writing goals for the new year? Let's chat about it in the comments. And remember, we release a new episode every Wednesday. Next week, we're talking about how a digital detox may help your writing. To ensure you don't miss it, hit the subscribe button on your way out. If you want to learn more about us in the meantime, check out our website at themerrywriterpodcast.podbean.com and our coffee page for more content. Thanks for listening to the Merry Writer Podcast. See you guys next week. This podcast is brought to you by Writing Goals. We set too many. The music titled Inspired is by Kevin MacLeod, licensed under Creative Commons 4.0.